Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Rundown. A2DRadio.com. Zach Barr, Ralph Dellavecchio. Tom Arnone on the ones and twos. BMW of Atlantic City. Go to bmwofatlanticcity.com. Easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Garden State Parkway, 6037 on the Black Horse Pike. A lot to talk about today. A lot of football talk. Got these Vegas odds that were released on Monday that have put the Eagles at 40-1. Technically long shot odds to win the Super Bowl, so we're going to have some fun with that and look at other long shot odds and look at the teams that we say maybe we were betting on these long shot odds, Ralph, in Vegas. What team would we want to put the most money on as far as the best chance to win the Super Bowl? Had the NFL opening weekend obviously just kicked off last night. Chiefs, Patriots. Ratings just came out in that game, Ralph. It's the lowest rated opening NFL game of the season since 2009. By the way, that game in 2009 had the Titans playing in it, which might explain why there was,
Well, there you go.
It wasn't highly rated.
That's the reason right there.
You get Patriots and Chiefs last night. Like that should be a highly rated contest, you would think. That's two exciting football
and
teams.
Foxborough, the Baron gets raised. Tom Brady comes back.
Brady did not look good, man. They confused him in different ways. He completed 44% of his passes.
Everybody has an off night, but I guess the Madden curse is going to get to him, huh?
The Madden curse. Well, the Madden curse. That's a good point. The Madden curse could indeed. He's on the cover. Maybe he doesn't get injured. Maybe he just has a bad year. Maybe finally his age starts catching up to him. Finally starts looking 40 years old, right?
Yep.
Lost his top receiver, Julian Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got other playmakers. Brandon Cooks is a better playmaker. Gronk's a better playmaker, but Edelman was his safety blanket. You know what I mean? He always trusted Edelman to be exactly where he expected him to be at all times. It was like he could close his eyes and know where Julian Edelman was going to be.
Yeah, now he's going to trust Danny Amendola, who had a good night last night.
Until he got blown up across the middle. Who blew him up? I thought he ruptured his spleen.
Yeah, he got blasted right over the middle.
Then he left with another concussion issue or something. He's a walking.
It's like Wes Welker.
Yeah, he's even more injury prone than Wes Welker. This guy's more problems staying healthy.
And they had Chris Hogan all in the little jet sweeps all night in the backfield too. That would really piss me off because I got Chris Hogan on my fantasy team. So
why'd you draft Chris Hogan to your fantasy team?
Well, because I thought Edelman went down. Chris Hogan had a good year last year. Might as well just draft him. But he was on my bench though. It was good though.
Okay, if you say so.
It's good.
If you say so.
I'll use him as trade bait.
Alex Smith apparently tuned into John Elway in the offseason.
Yeah,
I don't know how
what the
that
hell
happened.
It's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, and he's got lit a fire under his ass. I got to do something differently here, or else this kid's going to replace me.
I'm going to go ahead and draft the quarterback over me. They got no confidence.
I am so happy that Alex Smith went off for 368 yards last night and had what will probably end up being his best game of the season. By the time everything is said and done, he won't have another game like that all year.
No.
That was his 7th career 300-yard passing game. This is now his 13th year in football.
It says a lot.
We know what the guy is at this point. He's not going to magically turn into that guy that's throwing for 300-plus yards every single weekend.
He's got that once every 4 years. One game every 4 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe one a year like that. But he's got Kareem Hunt now, who could be all of a sudden a legitimate Rookie of the Year contender.
True.
And I'm so upset about that, Ralph, because you know how much I like that kid going all the way back before the draft and all that. I was like, if we could get him in the mid-rounds, oh, man, that's a playmaker right there. That was part of the reason I wasn't in on Dalvin. Remember? I said, I don't need Dalvin. I don't need the draft Dalvin that high because I think you can find a guy like Kareem Hunt in the middle rounds that's going to be just as much of a playmaker.
And Andy Reid heard you.
Well,
you got him. Now look what happened last night.
A lot of people here at the station felt that way. I'm happy that we got a lot of smart people here that were able to recognize a guy like that was going to be an impact player. But, yeah, he walks into a perfect situation with Andy. I mean, if you're a young running back, there's not many better systems to walk into than Andy's system. And then Spencer Ware got injured to put Hunt right in that role. And, he's going to be, it seems like, the workhorse for them this year.
Yeah.
But I took something away from last night's game, that makes me, it's completely 180 my opinion of when we play the Chiefs now next Sunday. Remember, I had us beating Washington, losing to Kansas City. I think we beat Kansas City now.
Yeah, I do too. I think if they got blown out, like if it was the other way around, I would say, well, now they want their vengeance. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think that Alex Smith is not going to have He's going to have one of his typical Alex Smith games. He might throw for 220 yards or something. Now we're going to have to stop the running game. Obviously, Hunt was a weapon, and they've got Tyreek Hill and
out of the backfield
they've got some weapons, but I think it's going to be back to what we're used to seeing from an Alex Smith offense. He'll manage the game. He might be effective. High completion percentage, stuff like that. Take care of the football. But I like our chances a lot more of winning this football game now than I did before the Patriots game. I couldn't see the Chiefs losing to the Patriots, then following that up and losing to us and starting the season 0-2.
Yeah.
To me, that was not going to happen. So the fact that the Chiefs beat the Patriots kind of changes things for me now. They looked really good, but they lost what is the heart and soul of their football team in Eric Berry.
Yeah.
Ruptures his Achilles hasn't officially been confirmed, but for
we all know
all the early reports, it seems like that's the case. So, you never know. They could come out and maybe be a little bit flat. They don't have their emotional leader, the heart and soul of that football team, and they're just a little bit flat, and you can go into Arrowhead, which is a tough environment.
Yeah. One of the loudest stadiums to play at, too.
Yeah, and, but if you come off a good performance, that's how you got to have a good performance against Washington, because you can follow that up then going into a place like Kansas City, who's kind of primed now for a little bit of a step back after losing their heart and soul. And, the Patriots, the one thing I noticed last night, they didn't get a lot of pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get a lot of pressure with their front seven to Alex Smith. I think we're going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback this year.
Well, I hope so.
And you get pressure to Alex Smith, he's not going to go 26 for 35 for 368 yards and 4 touchdowns like he did last night. So I really like our chances of starting 2-0 now.
It looks good. It looks really good. But
if we start 2-0,
how surprising was that last night? That beaten by the Chiefs.
21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
And Tom Brady did not look like himself, but it's too early to jump on that bus.
They'll straighten things out. If the Patriots struggle, they always seem to be early in the year, right? Mm-hmm. How many years have they started 2-2 or something like that in September, and then they reel off 10 straight wins, by the time we hit December. But from the beginning, he just looked a little off. The wide open, the first play of the game, was it Dwayne Allen, whoever it was that was wide open on the wheel route up the sideline. Nobody near him.
Yeah, overthrew him.
He could have underthrown that football, and it still would have been a huge play.
True.
He nearly went Blake Bortles on it and threw it out of bounds and gave him no chance to make a play. I was like,
he's got the Blake arm.
Yeah, that's a little bit. That's just not. It's not what you're used to seeing from Tom. Even first game of the year, you know what I mean? But hey, he's 40 now.
The running game was on point though last night.
At times. And then at times they couldn't convert on 4th and 1. They were missing a play.
Yeah.
Was it just me, or did you saw him on 4th and 1 a couple times? I'm like, here comes the Brady sneak. You're going to sneak it with Brady. This is what they do. And they never snuck it with Brady.
They're very cautious.
5 years ago, they would have snuck that with Brady. He has a first down. It is what it is. Keep the drive going. No big deal. Now all of a sudden, they're worried about him.
Because they're getting cautious with him. He's 40 years old, Zach. You gotta be a little cautious with him.
Giselle is, she doesn't want him.
The goddamn concussions.
Yeah, she can't. No more of those QB sneaks on 4th down. None of that.
Yeah,
none of that. Who was the other quarterback that he imitated? Was it Bortles again when he went across the line of scrimmage and got penalized? That was a Blake Bortles moment too. Didn't Bortles get penalized for that last year?
If a quarterback gets throws a bad pass or misses a wide open wide receiver, call it the Blake arm. Give it the Blake arm.
See the worst quarterback in football?
Yeah, right now? Oh,
Blake Bortles, worst quarterback in football.
100%.
Worst starting quarterback.
Deshaun Kaiser's better than him.
I'll take Brian Hoyer over. I'll take Brian Hoyer out in San Fran over.
Oh, yeah. I'll take Hoyer over Blake Bortles any day of the week.
Hoyer's been decent in a lot of places. Hoyer helped the Texans get to the playoffs.
Yeah, then he got injured that year, right?
Yeah, if you're a team that needs a transitional quarterback, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the perfect guy. Then they'll probably he'll stick around in San Francisco as the backup after whoever they draft as their franchise guy.
Or they could just go out and get Kirk next year.
Well, that's what I think they're probably going to end up doing, at least make a run
then
at him.
Kirk becomes the next highest paid quarterback, and then so on and so on and so on after that.
I think that offense is going to be decent no matter what. The way they scheme things up, the Shanahans, I mean, both the dad,
the 49er
Mike,
system?
yeah, Mike and Kyle, I mean, the way they've always schemed things up offensively, I think they're going to be pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you this: they got the best draft pick in the first round.
And they have Reuben Foster defensively, who I think's a stud. I think that's what I keep saying. You've heard me say the past 2 weeks. I think they're going to be a little bit better than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
They're going to be better than the Rams. Put it that way.
I can see them get 7 to 8 wins this year.
I think they could win 7 games. Yeah, I don't think that's out of the question. Ralph, of all the long shot odds, you got the Eagles at 40-1 long shot odds to win the Super Bowl. Which long shot would you put the most money on? You got the Eagles at 40-1, the Buccaneers at 33-1, the Panthers at 28-1, the Titans at 33-1. Which one would you put the most money on?
Out of those four?
Out of those four.
Wow. Well, I would say the Buccaneers, but they got to play 16 straight weeks of football.
They do
it's
now.
a lot.
They do now.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to be Homer, and I don't want to say the Eagles because that's just Homer. Who was the other two?
The Panthers at 28-1.
See, the Panthers could sneak in the playoffs and make some noise.
You know,
I mean, they took the pressure off of Cam.
Yeah,
by
McCaffrey's
getting
McCaffrey. He's
McCaffrey.
going to have a big year for them.
And that defense.
It's still that same
yeah,
defense.
still, nothing has changed.
Luke Kuechly's still the best linebacker in football. Yeah. Thomas Davis is still there.
You know
the
what?
Secondaries,
the Panthers on that list probably have the most
you like
upside
the Panthers
to it.
The most?
Yeah,
I mean, I think the Panthers 28-1 to me seemed a little crazy. I mean, okay, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They were a 15-1 football team, clearly super talented. So they take a step back last year. There's a lot that goes into that. You see it every year with the team that loses the Super Bowl. There seems to be something fluky or just something weird that happens that makes them take a step back the following year. I think McCaffrey's in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He's going to have that type of impact for them as far as running and catching the football. That could help Newton become more consistent, take care of the football better, have a higher completion percentage from the pocket, and they still have an elite defense.
Yeah,
the
defense hasn't changed.
The one thing you worried about them, last year, obviously they lost Josh Norman, from that Super Bowl team, and that really hurt them.
Oh, you could tell. You could tell that hurt him.
We're going to see a lot of Josh Norman. We're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show because there was an article written about him involving because he's probably going to match up on Alshon Jeffrey a lot this Sunday. And there was a lot of talk as far as, we know Norman. He likes to play the mind games, does a lot of talking, and, that's why he's able to take guys like Odell Beckham out the game because he plays with their minds and it affects them. And the Eagles were talking about having a silent treatment that they're going to, Norman's just going to talk and they're just not going to respond. Guys like Alshon Jeffrey are just going to stand there across from him and not say anything in return. So we're going to talk about that article and some of the Lane Johnson comments a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, Lane Johnson.
He's fired up, isn't he?
He granted a win, so that means all the stones are on his back.
Yeah.
Or you lose.
We got to come out and win this game now. I mean,
we have to.
You come out, you
talk all that
type
shit.
Of smack now. now you come out, you get a big win. It fires you up going into Kansas City, and you start 2-0. Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at this now. You like the Panthers at 28-1. See, I think the Panthers. I mean, if I'm throwing money on anybody,
that's the best team on that list.
If I'm throwing money on anybody, you throw $100 on Carolina at 28-1 odds, and you make $2,800.
Yeah.
So I mean, you pick how much money you want to throw on them. It's not a bad bet. They are to me the team that probably is going to be the strongest candidate to bounce back, make the playoffs, and have a deep run in the playoffs again. I mean, that team's still all there, obviously, to make the deep run. We don't know what their secondary is like. That was the weak point of that defense last year, was their secondary. I like the Titans a lot at 33-1 too. The Titans and the Bucks.
But the thing with the Titans, if they make the playoffs, they still got to go through New England.
Well, and Pittsburgh and Kansas City and other teams. But that division's weak. The AFC South.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Colts.
You can go 6-10 and win the
without Andrew Luck, they're going to be even worse.
Yeah. Scott Tolson's the quarterback now.
How about this for out of that division? Does this surprise you? The Texans at 20-1 odds. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth best. They have the ninth best odds out of any team in football.
It's the Deshaun Watson effect.
With Tom Savage as their quarterback. Imagine if he ends up somehow having a pretty good year and puts up big numbers and all the memes that are going to come from that.
Tom Savage.
Yeah, from that name. He's just setting himself up to be a superstar if he could have some.
What was their odds?
20-1.
That's good.
That's how much people like their defense.
That's
They're
good.
right behind the Raiders. The Raiders are 14-1, and a lot of people are picking the Raiders as an early Super Bowl favorite. I think the Giants and the Cowboys at 12-1. Why are the Giants 12-1?
It's because of that defense.
Am I missing something?
It's because of that defense. That's why.
But I think that defense is overrated. The way that people talk about that defense, you'd think they're the goddamn Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't see with the Giants defense. I don't see anything special about it.
I mean, Landon Collins is a good player. You know, he had a really good year.
Janoris Jenkins there.
You know, is he going to have the same type of year this year as he did last year? Who knows? Janoris Jenkins, yeah, he's a good player. But Jason Pierre-Paul still has half a hand. You know, I mean,
Freaking club.
You know, he's got one club hand. Yeah, I know they got the other guy, Olivier Vernon or whatever, on the other side. You know, he's a good pass rusher. But, I mean, I like Spagnuolo. Spags has always been a good defensive coordinator.
Well, we'll see Sunday night.
You know, but 12-1? Like, we're 40-1 and the Giants are 12-1?
Yeah.
You got guys like Colin Cowherd saying the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. And Vegas has got us at 40-1 with the Giants at 12-1. A little bit disrespectful. Just saying, you know.
Whatever.
I like Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Sometimes. When he's not, you know, in love with LeBron James.
Oh, man. Don't get me started on that. NBA playoffs come around and NBA seasons come around.
By the way,
turn that show on.
Speaking of FS1, have you seen the new show with Nick Wright and Chris Carter?
No. No, I can't stand Nick Wright.
I actually thought I was going to hate it. Mm-hmm. And I was watching it the past couple mornings. And, like, it actually is pretty good. Like, they're funny. Like, they're insightful. They bring other people, and they had Michael Vick on, and Michael Vick was making jokes.
Really?
Yeah, you know, and Chris Carter, because they were asking Michael Vick about his favorite performances, and he didn't bring up the Vikings game. Remember where he won in overtime with that long run, and the two players collided with one another defensively?
Yeah.
And Chris Carter was mad that he didn't bring up that game. He's like, I thought you were going to bring up that game. He's like, no. He's like, you guys kept playing man-to-man against me. He's like, you don't play man-to-man against a mobile quarterback. I don't know what was wrong with you. You know, and like, this is the type of, like, just, you know, normal conversation that was going on. It was different than most of, like, the shows you seem to see around on these national stations. They were a little bit different. They were a little bit, a little bit more unscripted than you know, unpredictable. You know, like the skip the show with Undisputed with Skip and Shannon Sharp is the same damn thing they did. You know, at ESPN with First Take. You know, it's no different. I was actually surprised, but I was like, all right, like I thought I was going to hate this show. I like Nick Wright more than most people. Again, sometimes there's some stuff that annoys me with him too, but I liked it more than I thought I was going to be honest.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
I think it might be the best show on their station. It's way better than Undisputed. And, you know, there's more depth to it than The Herd because with Colin Cowherd, I mean, it's just him a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I can't stand Christine Leahy.
Yeah.
You know. The only time I've ever agreed with LeVar Ball. The only time ever.
Stay in your lane.
You know. Let's look at some of the other long shots on here, Ralph. We mentioned the Buccaneers are at 33-1. The Vikings are at 28-1. The same odds as the Panthers. You know, their defense is still really good.
Yeah.
I have no belief in Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford's not going to win you anything.
Sammy Sleeves, come on now.
You know, but you know, I know you like the Lions. They're at 66-1.
I do
you
like
put
the
money
Lions.
on the Lions then. So you're picking the Lions to win the North. So therefore you'd have to throw some money on Detroit then,
yeah,
wouldn't
I'll throw
you?
money on Detroit.
You're going to throw money? Yeah, listen, 66-1. Why not put $100
I'll throw
on
the
them?
money on Detroit winning the division.
Well, let's
straight
see.
up.
Do we have those odds here? I don't know what those odds are. Well, we do. We have odds as far as the NFC and AFC championship. Let's see. The Lions' odds to win the NFC championship are 28-1. Ralph, you go put money on that.
That ain't bad.
28-1. That
Who's
ain't
the
bad.
top team?
They've never won the NFC championship ever in the history of their football pro. Matt Stafford has 5 wins against winning teams in his career.
Who's the top team?
The Seahawks at 9-2 at the end of the favored to win the NFC championship.
I guess the Packers are right on.
Green Bay's at 5-1.
Typical.
And then Atlanta's at 6-1. I think Atlanta, like I know you have, you said you have Green Bay missing the playoffs this year. I have Atlanta missing the playoffs. I think Atlanta has that Super Bowl hangover. You know, you never know what's going to happen injury-wise and stuff like that with teams, you know, defensively and all that with them. I think their running game might not be as good this year. Now that Shanahan's not there, the Shanahans, going back to, you know, Mike Shanahan, always seem to have good running games no matter, no matter where they're at. You know, Mike Shanahan, found how many guys, Clinton Portis and Terrell Davis and Mike Anderson and how many guys like that ran for a lot of yards. So I think their running game might struggle a little bit this year compared to what it was the past couple years. I still think they're going to be a good offense. I just don't think they're going to have the top offense in football anymore, like they did a year ago. Matt Ryan's not going to be the MVP candidate that he was a year ago. I think the Bucs will be better in that division, and the Panthers are going to be better in that division again. We talked about them earlier. So, yeah, I actually have I think the Falcons take a step back. They maybe go 9-7, but find themselves on the outside looking in. You got, say the Bucs or the Panthers win that division at 10-6.
See, the thing that scares me about the Bucs is that the 16 straight weeks of football.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, that is
tough.
We talked about that a lot last year with the Eagles schedule, how they had an early bye week, and how playing 11 or 12 straight weeks of football or whatever it is to end the year is not always the easiest thing.
No.
13 straight weeks of football because their bye week was week 4, and it isn't always the easiest thing. Whether or not it had an effect on the Eagles down the stretch or not last year, who knows? But yeah, 16 straight weeks of football can be absolutely grueling. So that could affect them at some point when you get especially down the stretch late in the year.
And is the hurricane even going to affect Miami?
Oh, it's going to smack the hell out of Miami.
Oh,
Irma might like the eye of the storm. It might hit like Miami might be like the main.
Oh wow! So the Dolphins might not even play any home games at their stadium this year.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's Miami, so you got to remember things are built in Miami to withstand. Yeah. They get hit by hurricanes every year, so things are built to withstand that.
Well, I mean, if you're getting the eye right over Miami,
but their stadium is. I mean, it's Miami, but it's not like it's right on the beach. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it is off the coast a little bit. I know. The whole city of Miami's getting hit, but they get hit by hurricanes every year. Like the way things are built out there. No, not the size of Irma. It's the biggest since they've had since Hurricane Andrew in the early '90s.
Oh, the whole state is?
That's not true. My brother's down there in Melbourne. He's not evacuating.
Here we go.
He's not evacuating. Certain areas of the state are evacuating, yes.
Just because your brother is not evacuating. It is a state of emergency for the state of Florida.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're having everybody evacuate.
That means everything, genius. I hate when you argue with me. Have you seen the goddamn storm?
Yes.
It's the size of the state of Texas. So the people who want to stay.
I've got more family living down there than you right now.
Oh, good. So, and that from your pedigree, what does that tell me? From what you're saying, they ain't too bright up top either.
Okay, yeah.
Because a state of emergency, they're going to stick it out.
Here we go.
They're going to stick it out.
No, that's the way it works.
Size of Texas. That's the way it works. A hurricane the size of the state of goddamn Texas, and people going, oh, we're going to stick it out.
Depending on where you're at.
I'm out, bro.
If you're right on the coast, yes, they need to evacuate. But not everybody in Florida lives right on the coast. That's why they have certain areas evacuating. In other areas, they just want you to board up and take the sandbag up and things like that. There's precautions that the people that live in states like this that get hit by hurricanes every year take.
Okay, well, for your family who's in more of the middle of the state, it's a different situation.
My family's not in the middle of the state at all.
Then they're ridiculous for not leaving. Plain and simple. My family's.
Where are you going to leave to?
Anywhere, dude. Where are you going to leave to when there's water coming through your front door? Where are you going to leave then? This is what people. But miss.
Depending on where you're at, you don't. This when you live down there and you have all the reports going on, depending on where you're at, exactly what type of weather you're going to deal with.
Do you?
That's why they have these people reporting on this. Yes.
Because the Weather Channel and everything else always gets it right?
No, there's more than just the Weather Channel reporting on shit.
You can learn from Katrina. You can learn
these people
from the last storm. You can learn that, hey, you can't listen. Dude, these storms can go from a 3 to a 5 when they hit landfall like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
And this one's already a 5.
There's no judging on what that storm can be when it hits. All I'm saying is if I hear a state of emergency for the state of Florida and I see the size of this storm, I ain't sticking around.
What they're not allowing is they're not allowing people to fly out of airports and things like that.
Cars? What's this, the 1800s? You know what I mean?
Well, they're telling certain.
We live in 1890.
They've actually informed certain people to stay where they're at. They've actually informed certain people to stay where they're at. If you live on the second floor of a building, stay where you're at. Depending on where you're at, it's safer for you to stay where you're at than it is for you to try to leave. If you're going to evacuate, you can't fly. They've shut down the airports. That's why the Miami Hurricanes game got canceled. They're playing against Arkansas State in Arkansas, but they canceled that game because it could affect them traveling back from Arkansas, trying to fly back to the Miami area. No airports are flying you back. If no airport in the Miami area is open, you can't fly back from Arkansas, so they had to cancel that game. depending on where you're at, yeah, you should probably get the hell out. If you live in some other area, those precautions they take with sandbagging and boarding up and all that. I mean, there was the one lady that was talking. She lives in a house in Miami, and she was on the news, and she's talking about how her windows, the way her house is built, it's these it's
So that 80-foot wave hits that house.
No, it's literally the way some of these structures are built down there. There's hurricane-proof windows and stuff. Like these windows are like so thick, it's impossible for shit to come blowing through them.
It's a freaking bulletproof glass.
Yeah, like that's how these structures are. It's kind of like out on the West Coast how a lot of these structures are built to help
earthquakes.
For earthquakes, right? Like an earthquake could hit, and a stadium out there still won't collapse. You know what I'm saying? No, I know.
I'm out.
We argue about this. It's still good radio. I mean, we're fucking arguing about bullshit, and it's still really good radio. So you're insulting my family. Fuck you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. Sure as hell does.
Welcome to the new weather show.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we have.
To be honest, that hurricane is freaking humongous, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the strongest. As I said, Andrew was the last time they had one this strong, and that was 1992. And we're talking about hurricanes hit the state of Florida every year, so that kind of tells you something. You know how long ago that was, 25 years ago or whatever. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the top 5 or whatever for hurricanes to be have this strong of winds, like 180
Now,
mile
when's
per
this
hour
thing
winds or
supposed to
whatever.
hit?
Within the weekend, I heard Saturday was probably a good day for it to probably strike land at some point. But like.
Just the way you said it, I know what you meant.
Right, well, yeah, that's when they're predicting, that's the day, that's probably the best day to predict that it's going to hit. It's most likely that would be the day. They're still getting rain and stuff like that, I'm assuming, down there right now, and you're still feeling the early effects of it. But, yeah, I mean, put it this way, I wouldn't want to be in Miami right now.
Yeah.
If I'm in Miami, I'm probably getting the hell out. You know what I mean? I know where my brother's at in Melbourne. He feels safer, but he's further up the coast from Miami. You know what I mean? If you're in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or a place like that, yeah, you probably want to get the hell out. Yeah, I don't know because Sarasota's on the other side of the state. That's the western coast. So I mean, you would know better about Sarasota and what's going to go on over on the Gulf side of it.
People are leaving there too, and that's never been hit by a hurricane as long as.
That tells you something, man.
But just 'cause it's so big,
I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Boarding up and getting out.
Oh, what's the odds on the hurricane?
The odds on the hurricane. What's the over/under for the fatalities?
Jesus Christ!
Does Vegas have odds on this? There's casinos in the Tampa area. I wonder if they're taking bets on it.
Yeah.
It's the rundown. A2DRadio.com. Ralph, you said you like, for the record, the Panthers. That would be the team you're putting the most
yeah, I
money
like
on?
the Panthers on that list.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bucks, but I'm with you now. I like your theory of 16 straight weeks of football. The Panthers, for me, probably have to be the team, too, but just to be different, I might go put them on the Titans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that Titans team. I like Mariota. I like some of the weapons they got, their running game. Their defense seems to get better each year.
If Mariota can stay healthy and he's got new toys, I can see 10 to 11 wins this year for the
I think
Titans.
they might win that division. They could win the South because the only team they're competing with is the Texans. Yeah. That's the Colts stink and the Jaguars stink. Yeah. So you got two teams in that division. The question would be, could they make a deep run? You mentioned it earlier against the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Steelers. Yeah. Do they have the firepower to compete with teams like that? I don't know. The rundown, A2DRadio.com. We'll get more into this conversation when we come back. We'll get into other NFL talk, the Chiefs-Patriots game, some of the things we took away from it on both sides. Get into some of the comments from Lane Johnson and, the leadership role he seems to be now taking with the Eagles on that offensive line and with that offense maybe in general going forward, as well as some more insight on the article involving Redskins cornerback Josh Norman. All that when we come back. It's the rundown. A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza at Cherry Hill, 856-889-3434. Visit the website, scanzanosports.com.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
The Rundown. Only on A2DRadio.com.
This is The Rundown, A2DRadio.com, brought to you by Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs, 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email sportsoutletnj@comcast.net. Sportsoutletinc.com for more information. Also, Gibson Mayer LLC, certified public accountants at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, 215-369-3300. A lot of football talk as Vegas has released their Super Bowl odds beginning of this week. NFL season kicked off last night.
Yeah.
Chiefs looked rather impressive. The Patriots, a little shaky, although I think we all expect
It's week
for them
one.
to get it
Yeah,
figured
they'll get
out.
it.
I mean, they're the Patriots. It's
Yeah, freaking Tom Brady's their quarterback. They're good.
by week 10, they'll figure it all out.
Yeah.
And hell, by week 10, if Tom Brady's still playing like this, they might throw in Jimmy Garoppolo because that's just what they do.
Yeah, why not?
But he's not going to keep playing like this by week 10. He looked 40, though, last night.
Punch Bill Belichick in the face.
Yeah.
If Jimmy Garoppolo gets
So what if Brady has, he struggles like last night for 10 weeks? You don't care? You stick with Brady?
I'm Peyton fucking Manning this year.
Right.
And I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with.
He gets the whole year.
Do you think Belichick? I mean, knowing Belichick's MO. I mean, he did it with Bledsoe when Bledsoe was kind of that guy early in Brady's career. It was Bledsoe was the closest thing to irreplaceable there was as a franchise quarterback. Does he care? I mean, if there's 10 straight weeks of this with Brady, and he looks like Peyton Manning in his final year all of a sudden, and Jimmy Garoppolo's your backup instead of Brock Osweiler or something. Do
they make a trade for Brock?
Does Bill care? Does Bill care?
You get Johnny Manziel.
Oh Jesus, stop it! Yeah, he's going to sign a guy like that.
Nah, they'll never bring him in.
But you make a joke about the trade for Brock. Do they make a trade at some point here before the trade deadline in the NFL to actually improve that football team?
At least on the defensive side of the ball.
That seems like a very Bill Belichick thing to do.
Yeah.
They think they've got a hole somewhere defensively, and they try to, go fill it.
Maybe.
They traded for Eric Rowe a year ago doing that.
Well, Hightower went down last night, right?
He did, and they don't know the significance of that injury.
Yeah.
He's got a sprained knee. But they don't know how much time he's going to miss. I was surprised they didn't take a look at a guy like Marcel Darius, who clearly is he's clearly had disciplinary issues wherever he's been, but, a lot of those guys come into New England and figure it all out.
Oh, yeah. Michael Floyd did.
Their front seven is rather thin right now in New England. A guy like that would be, a move like that, maybe,
Go get Calvin Pryor.
Calvin Pryor could be a guy they look at. He just got released by Cleveland. Absolutely. Could be a guy they look at, especially after the safety play last night.
Oh, dreadful.
McCourty looks good.
He does.
McCourty looks good in that transition to safety. Chung, I think, had a ball go right through his hands, if I remember correctly.
Patrick Chung?
Yeah. Remember
We had him.
It was the throw that Smith made near the goal line or whatever. I think it went right through Chung's hands. One of the deep balls or something over the middle.
I think so, yeah.
That initially went through Chung's hands and then was caught inside the 5-yard line. And it could have easily been an interception, but wasn't. And even if they play, they play 3 safeties. They go sign Calvin Pryor just because they now have depth.
Yeah.
That's like a very Patriot thing to do.
Patriots would do something like that.
Spend a 7th-round pick to go get Marcel Darius, a 6th-round pick. They give up absolutely nothing to go get a guy that's going to actually help them a ton.
Yeah, they'll call the team up, be like, you know what, this draft class is really, really strong. Here's a 6th-round pick. They'll probably persuade them any chance they can get. Because that's what Bill does.
54% of the snaps. Eric Rowe played 54% of the snaps last night. He needs to play at least 50% of the snaps this year for us to get a 3rd-round pick, for that pick
It'll
from
happen.
New England to turn into a 3rd-round pick.
It'll happen, but Bill,
That
little freaking
secondary
snake.
continues to look like it did last night.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to find themselves out of a job real quick, and it could be Eric Rowe.
Wouldn't be surprised. Happened here in Philly.
What if they sign Darrell Rivas back or something,
The Patriots need help in that defense, and it showed last night.
their front
If Alex Smith is throwing 300-something yards on you.
They got no pressure on him. I mean, because Gilmore's still a good corner.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a and you saw that at times last night. He made a couple really good plays and had some good coverage. Their safety play. I mean, McCourty. He looked good. He was a physical player. Was making tackles. On in the backfield and on guys like Kelsey, who's not an easy guy to tackle. I think it's their front seven. Their defensive line, they got no pressure. Can you name one guy on that defensive line?
Nope.
It's hard to name a guy on that defensive line. You can't even give me an impact player. And outside of Hightower, there's not really anybody on that linebacking core anymore.
Yeah, true.
They traded Jamie Collins
to
Cleveland.
Cleveland, I forgot about that.
So that front seven is it's weak. That secondary looks,
They'd regret that, huh?
We talk about this all the time. Doesn't matter how good your secondary is. If you don't get any pressure on the quarterback, it's going to expose your secondary.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt your secondary.
If your front seven is good, your secondary looks amazing.
If your front seven's good, your secondary looks a whole hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
So, right now they just have front seven issues. Now I think they get it figured out because it's what they do. But right now it's just a problem.
Yeah.
Now our front seven's really good. I think we get a lot of pressure on Alex Smith.
And does Derek Barnett start over Vinny Curry this Sunday?
Oh, absolutely.
He should, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
if I see 75 running on that field, someone's going to get drop kicked.
Okay.
To start that series off, Derek Barnett should be starting over
Vinny Curry.
Curry.
You work for the Eagles again this year?
Nah.
No?
Nah, I'm done with that.
You done with that shit?
Yeah.
What happened? They didn't
I
pay
even
you
want to
enough?
doing tickets. I want to watch the game.
You want?
That's why I got the job. I want to watch the game live.
Wanted to be the head usher.
Yeah. Got me freaking doing tickets.
Show people to their seats, right?
Yeah.
Right here, sir. This is your seat right here. Right here. Instead of handing out the tickets, you wanted to guide the people
Yeah, that's fine.
Take their tickets and guide them to where they're supposed to go, right?
Watch the game, yeah.
Okay, I don't blame
Got me
you.
doing tickets at the gate with no
I don't-
TV.
I don't blame you. Well, I wonder why. They probably know if they put a TV there, nobody be passing out tickets correctly. They'd all be watching the game.
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
Stupid. Whatever.
Justin Houston looked really good for Kansas City last night.
He did.
He's already all of a sudden he looks like he's back to full form.
Yeah. And Hali's still, what is he on the pup still?
Tamba Hali, is he on the pup or is he?
I think he is.
Is he off that team? Did they release him after this year?
Nah, I think he's on the pup. If he comes back week 6.
Well, they don't even need him because they got the other guy, on the other side.
Poe?
No, Dartari Poe's left. He's in Atlanta now.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Benny Logan. Remember, they signed Benny Logan to replace him. That's kind of funny.
Good job, Andy.
No, the guy from Auburn, the pass rusher off the edge, D. Wagner or something.
I got to look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, but he actually took Hali's D. Ford. He took Hali's spot by the end of last year anyway. He was already getting more playing time. Yeah, D. Ford, the linebacker. Drafted him out of Auburn in 2014 in the first round, and people thought it was a little bit crazy because they obviously were already stacked at linebacker. Yeah, they've got Ford. They've got Derek Johnson. They've got Justin Houston, who now looks back to full strength. And obviously, Marcus Peters is out there in the secondary, but they lost Eric Berry now.
The heart and soul of that defense.
Exactly.
The anchor.
He's the heart and soul of that team. Not just that defense, but that team in general. He's come back from cancer and all that, You could tell, too, when he was down, Andy Reid came out in the little conversation they had with Andy patting him on the head, and then they had the little high five and all that, where Andy put his hand up and what's his name, Eric Berry, kind of grabbed his hand like this from laying on the ground and, high-fived him. And, you could tell by that little moment that, Andy was, that little, you could tell who the heart and soul of that team was.
Yeah.
That was, okay, this is going to be a big loss for them. But, they got pressure on Tom Brady, so that defense is something that
it's nothing to mess with, man.
it's not. That offensive line in New England is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Brady got sacked, less than 6, I think he got sacked less than once per game last year on average. And, pressure was on him all night last night. So that's something that we're going to have to worry about, trying to defend guys like Justin Houston and D. Ford and people of that nature. We got to have one of our running backs be a better pass
Put
blocker.
Wendell Smallwood in the backfield or Garrett Blunt.
Yeah,
Somebody
but Smallwood
big.
got blown up in preseason trying to block.
He
Blunt,
did.
I think Blunt's a good
Yeah.
part of now. This could be interesting. We could see this as the year goes on. Maybe we didn't talk about this enough last year. Maybe people didn't talk about this enough last year in New England. LeGarrette Blunt is a very good pass protector
he is.
for a running back, and he probably had a lot to do with Brady not getting sacked any more than he did last year. All of a sudden last night, they got nobody in their backfield that was going to be able to pick somebody up and block them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. If Doug Peterson runs one sweep play with LeGarrette Blunt, he's getting drop kicked right in the upper lip. Run the ball up the middle with LeGarrette Blunt.
Right in the upper lip.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm with you. Yeah, you got LeGarrette Blunt for a reason. Third and short, the ball needs to go to LeGarrette Blunt.
And if he's in field goal range, you kick the freaking ball, you get your points.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of giving up easy points either, although you saw last night with New England the way they did it. I mean, that's the league in some ways is moving to that, that direction of being more aggressive in certain situations like that.
Well, they miss Blunt. They miss him big time.
They do. And I'm not opposed to going for it on 4th and short and stuff like that this year. If you're going to kick a long field goal, 45 plus yards, and it's 4th and a yard, okay, maybe I go for it a lot more than I try to kick that field goal this year. Mm-hmm. But every damn time, the play call, 85, 90% of the time, better be a handoff to LeGarrette Blunt. Yeah. That
right up the
be
middle.
The play call.
Follow freaking
And the other
Kelsey.
10 to 15% of the time better be Carson Wentz sneaking it.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'5", 235. Let him sneak the ball up the damn middle. He falls forward most of the time.
Yeah.
You're going to get at least a yard. So that to me, I don't want to see any of these end arounds to Aguilar or handing the ball off to
Jesus
Darren
Christ.
Sproles.
Or a bubble screen on 3rd down and 11.
Or a bubble screen, on 4th and 1. We're running a damn bubble screen to Torrey Smith. Stop it. We might as well just release LeGarrette Blount if we're doing shit like that. So, but, if you got a field goal that's 35 yards or in, I would like to see you kick it rather than go for it. If it's going to be a 30-yard field goal attempt, kick the field goal. Let's take the points. Let's not.
It's so hard to get points in this league too.
You can't give up 3 points.
Yeah, if the points are there, you might as well take it,
It is a
Doug.
rule of thumb in this league when you, like in a lot of situations, easy points. You can't give up easy points. A 45-yard field goal is not easy points, so go for it on 4th and 1. Okay? You're down on the goal line. You want to try to get a touchdown, make a statement rather than the field goal. Even if you don't get it, now they got to go 99 yards. You have them backed up. That offense has to go 99 yards against you, whatever. Okay, maybe you go for it. But I don't like the idea of on 4th and 2, and you could be kicking a 30-yard field goal here. I don't like the idea of going for it there. I'd rather kick the 30-yard field goal because you end up in a situation where you were in like last year in the Giants game where you lost a game by 5 points that you should have won.
Yeah.
If you just went with football 101, you'll win that football game. You kick a field goal twice and you win that football game. So in certain situations like that, I'd like to see you kick it, but. If you went for it, I'm not going to tear it apart like I didn't tear it apart when New England did it last night. I'm not going to tear it apart as long as I feel like the play call is legitimate, is adamant. If it's a handoff to LeGarrette Blount on 4th and 2 and we don't get it, I'm blaming execution. That's the proper play call. LeGarrette Blount, your fat ass needs to get those 2 yards, and there's no excuses for it not happening. No excuse for the line not getting enough of a push and Blount not being able to fall forward to get 2 goddamn yards. He gets hit and he falls forward. How many people actually push him backwards?
Yeah.
So, but
it's very rarely he gets pushed backwards
but
too.
But if it's 4th and 1 and we decide to go for it and we run, a stupid end around the Aguilar, there's some type of screen pass to Aguilar, and you end up not getting it. Like now, I'm going to be very livid. Now I'm going to be like, no, you needed to kick the field goal because that's a stupid play call that made no sense from the beginning. If you're going to run that, you might as well just kick the goddamn field goal.
We'll see Sunday. We will see Sunday.
Yeah, I think Blount, will be on the field. People say, who's going to be the primary running back? It's just going to be Blount just because of the fact that he can pass protect.
Yeah.
So he'll be on the field more than any of the other ones because he's going to run the ball a lot in situations. But even in passing situations, he'll be on the field because you need somebody back there to block, and protect it. Darren Sproles isn't a good blocker either, but he's just, Blunt's bigger.
Yeah.
And you could realistically put Blount and like a guy like Sproles on the field at the same time. And still have a guy like Sproles able to run, routes out of the backfield for you, and and you be able to, use him, efficiently. Where that's where he's at his best a lot, running routes for you and doing stuff like that out of the backfield. But yeah, I think we're going to see we'll see some of it this Sunday. Washington has some playmakers on their defense, but I think next Sunday we're going to get against Justin Houston and Dee Ford and that Redskins defensive line. That Chiefs defensive line, that Chiefs defensive look. We'll find a lot more about our offensive line and how good we can be.
Yeah.
Got to take care of business, though, against the Redskins. That's the key this Sunday.
It is.
Because I think we can start 2-0. If you lose to the Redskins, now you're in danger of starting 0-2. Because now you got to go on the road to one of the toughest environments. And there's a lot of pressure because if you start 0-2, it's only going to get harder from there.
Well, if you start 0-1, that's a divisional game you lost. You're in the hole already.
And then you get the Giants week 3.
And if you go to Kansas City and lose there, you're 0-2, and you're just digging a deeper hole.
Must win.
Must win. Yeah.
Giants week 3 all of a sudden is a must-win football game. If you want to be the playoff team that I think we are, because let me say something. I don't know if you saw. Did you see Jeffrey Lurie's State of the Union address yesterday? He said something that really, really bugged me. Irritated the shit out of me, as a matter of fact. If I was there, who'd you say you wanted to slap earlier? Oh, you were going to drop kick?
Dougie P, yeah.
Dougie P, if he
runs a sweep play with LeGarrette Blount.
I think I'm going to, if I was there, I might have run up on stage and drop kicked Jeffrey Lurie. Because I swear this is what this guy said when they asked him the goals for the season. Mm-hmm. He said to get better. Which to me is a total bullshit, chicken shit answer.
You got to be around the bush.
What's the goal for this season? To get better. That's a bunch of nonsense. You know what that is? That's pretty much telling me that no matter what happens, it don't matter what happens, everything's fine. Nothing's going to change. Howie Roseman's still here. Doug Peterson's not going to have any pressure on him. The coaching staff, there's not going to be any pressure on any of them. To get better. That's supposed to, hold on, let's think about this for a second, right? We say something here all the time, right? We have a little saying here at A2D, right? You either get better or you get worse. There's no staying the same, right? You don't stay the same and get better. You can't come in and be like, hey, yeah, we're the same football team we were last year, so therefore we're just as good. No. If you're the same football team you were last year, you're worse than you were last year because you didn't get any better.
Somebody should have hit him. Well, what happens if you went 6-10, 7-9?
Well, he said, we want to get better. That's the progress we want to see. We want to get better this year. We want to see progress, get better. Well, what that means to me is that means 8-8 is okay. Because last year you were 7-9. So if you go 8, you got better than you were last year.
Yeah.
But that's not okay. Because by default, you're supposed to be better. That's the goal. But the goal in general is supposed to be a little bit better than we were last year. So when that question gets asked to you, what's the goal for this year? Don't tell me to get better. What the hell did you even call the fucking press conference for, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
He called the damn press conference. Yesterday morning.
He was probably bored.
He probably was, too. He's probably sitting around the NovaCare complex.
Like, what the hell do I do by myself?
I got nothing better to do.
1:30 press conference.
Nothing going on. Let me call a damn press conference and just chicken shit around these answers. But, he called the damn press conference. It wasn't like it was scheduled for months and months and months.
Yeah.
It's like 8 a.m. yesterday, and the news breaks that the Eagles are going to have a press conference at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And Jeffrey Lurie's holding a press conference. And you should have seen some of the stupid reaction on social media. I swear to God.
I got to watch it when I get home tonight.
I went on Twitter because I'm always on Twitter nowadays because this is what I do.
Yeah, we all know that.
I troll people. It's so much fun. You should get on Twitter with me. You should troll people more often. Make your account public.
Yeah.
It really, you'll see how many more opportunities you have to troll people. Because you're a troll to begin with. You're over here and you troll about Michigan State, And you're and the way you go off about what's your current thing that you like? You troll about the Phillies prospects not being up until they're 25. Yeah, things like that.
Which is true though.
Yeah, because JP's how old?
21.
Just turned 22.
Yeah.
How old's Reese Hoskins?
What are you, 23?
23. Yeah. So your 25 theory is really working out effectively. How old's Nick Williams?
I don't even know.
23.
Yeah.
Another. The 3 people right there. How old's Alfaro? 24?
He's one off.
Oh, my God. That's close to your fucking theory.
Yeah.
You're a knucklehead. But, if you would make your account public, you just get so much, you're already a natural Twitter troll, and you would, irritate the shit out of people naturally. You could be a Twitter superstar if you made your account public.
You watch any college football this weekend?
Probably. Mm-hmm. But I got the NASCAR race Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's Saturday night. Then I got NFL on Sunday. I've got college football throughout well, actually, no, I don't because I got to umpire two baseball games Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I got a viewing I'm going to Saturday morning, and then NASCAR's on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I might tune into, the college football game might be on. I might tune in.
Who's the favorite to win?
What, the NASCAR race at Richmond? Who the hell knows? It's a short track. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could be favorites to win.
Yeah.
If 10 guys could win that race, I wouldn't be surprised if, any 10 of them did it.
Your boy racing?
Who, Larson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's always racing. He's the man. Billy Badass. He is. He's Billy Badass. It's cool. He's the most exciting thing in NASCAR at the moment. If you don't know who Kyle Larson is, you need to. You need to watch.
Google him.
Google it. Google it.
Yep.
No, he's actually so exciting now that I went and I got this app, this website. I applied for dirtvision.net. It's this website where you can watch dirt track races, the local dirt tracks. You got New Egypt Speedway and Atco Speedway and places like that. Well, he's always racing at these dirt tracks when he's not doing NASCAR, and he's so exciting. He's gotten me into that. I'm listening to these races now on Dirt Vision on the internet.
Really?
Yeah, because he's that exciting. You ain't gonna move to Florida. You might as well adopt the redneck ways, right?
You might as well.
Might as well do it.
Get some alligators in the backyard too while you're there too.
College football and NASCAR. That's a typical redneck weekend.
With a case of beer on the side.
Multiple cases of beer on the side. That's a typical redneck weekend right there. So, But, this news broke. It's 9 a.m. that there's going to be this press conference, and then he comes out with this shit. Talking about how,
So
the
Jeffrey,
goal this year is to get better.
How do you get this team to, improve? We just got to get better.
What's the goal for the year? To be better than last year.
No shit.
Where's Howard Eskin when you need him?
Yeah, I know.
Where's Howard Eskin to start grilling
He's the
somebody?
best troll.
Like, where's Howard Eskin to start grilling somebody when you need somebody to grill? You need that guy that's not afraid to grill somebody. Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show. That used to be his role. You need somebody like that, not afraid to ask the tough questions. Well, what the hell's that mean? Like, if I'm there,
Yeah.
Well, like, what the hell's that mean, Doug? To get better. So what? Like, so we would anything better than 7-9? Because this is what irritates me about it. Because I heard Eagles fans even talking about. There was an Eagles fan last week saying the Eagles could legitimately be a better football team and play better football this year than they did last year, but still be a 7-9 football team.
This don't make sense. Just does not make sense.
I mean, I guess I understand like the point. The point there may be trying to be made. Like, I could use that point for the Lions this year. The Lions could play. The Lions didn't get any better, in my opinion, in the offseason. They didn't add anybody in free agency. It's not like they drafted somebody that's any type of impact. They won more one score football games than any team in football last year, right? Games within a touchdown. So you could realistically say this year when you look at their schedule, because they were a playoff team last year because their schedule was a little bit easier. They still didn't beat anybody. That's proof because Matthew Stafford still only has 5 wins in his career against teams with a winning record. Mm-hmm. So they still didn't beat anybody with a winning record.
Yeah.
So you could realistically say that they benefited from having, I guess, what would be a weaker schedule. They also benefited from breaks like us fumbling the football against them late in that football game.
Ryan Matthews, that's your fault.
Ryan Matthews don't fumble that football, right?
Yeah, there will be 1-4.
If Ryan Matthews don't fumble that football, we go 4-0. The Lions,
1-4.
or
1-3.
Whatever. That's one less win than they had at the end of the year. You know what I mean? They're 8-8 again, or whatever the hell it was. But you could realistically say that the Lions could play just as good a football this year, and actually play better football this year, and be or just as good a football this year as they did last year, but not be as good of a team. Okay, that could work with somebody like them because there's a trend that went into that. It's unrealistic to probably think that you're going to win.
Like the Lions snuck into the playoffs last year.
Right, and it's unrealistic to think that you're going to lead the league in back-to-back years.
Like if it wasn't
one-score football.
Like if it wasn't for the Vikings to have that dramatic drop off,
and
the Lions don't touch the playoffs.
Right, the Vikings added Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
right, so they get better.
Latavius Murray too.
Yeah, Latavius Murray. They still have a legit defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sam Bradford, year 2 of that system, can at least keep them in football games. So I look at it like that. You could say, okay, the trends just say it's unrealistic to think that the Lions are going to lead the NFL again in winning, one-score football games as far as their record in one-score football games. I don't think they lost in one-score football games a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trying to think back. Yeah,
or they played. They maybe played in more one-score football games than any other team in football, and they had a winning record in those one-score football games.
Because they won 9-7 last year.
Yeah, they won more one-score football games than any team in football. Mm-hmm. Well, it's unrealistic to think that back-to-back years, 2 years in a row, you're going to win you're going to win more one-score football games than any other team in football. That actually might be the reverse this year, and you lose more one-score football games than you did any other year in football. Could they overachieve just like they did last year? Yeah, but I think it's probably more realistic that they go 7-9 again because they're probably more of a 7-9 team than they are a 9-7 team.
Yeah,
they're not the worst team in football, but they're not a 9-7 team.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't last year. When we proved that, like we said, they'd been 8-8 if we don't fumble the ball there, right? So that just kind of shows you how many close games they won. Week 1, they beat the Colts. Remember that?
And it was a shootout too.
There was a shootout. Remember when Andrew Luck went down and the Colts took the lead with 50 seconds to play because the Colts have no defense.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford drove down the field
and won the game.
And they win the game in the final 50 seconds or whatever. Those are the types of games the Lions played all year long last year, and more times than not, they won those football games. Like you saw against us, they won the game against us, right? Mm-hmm. More times than not, they had breaks and stuff that they helped win those games. So I'll buy that argument that the Eagles fan made last week about, well, you could play better football or play just as good a football this year as you did last year, but still be a worse team. Maybe if we were the Lions or another team like that.
Yeah, or the Colts.
The Colts, any team like that, maybe you could do that. The Texans, I think the Texans could legitimately be that team. They still don't have a quarterback. They could play just as good of football as they did last year and actually be a worse football team record-wise.
See, now the thing with the Colts, that whole Andrew Luck theory with his shoulder, do they move on?
No, I mean, he's going to still be their guy. He's still going to be the franchise quarterback once he's healthy. He's too good of a talent. I mean, when he's healthy, you know, I think sometimes people expect too much of him. It's kind of like the Peyton Manning thing. Like, they're so critical of the guy because, you know, he didn't do this, or whatever, but he still threw for 4,300 yards.
Yeah.
You know, he still threw how many touchdowns? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like,
when did he get injured last year?
well, he's been banged up a ton over the past couple years because he's just he had surgery going into last year. Remember the offseason after the year before last, he had surgery. Then he played all of last year. But he was still injured and got banged up because they had no offensive line. And as his head coach likes to say, he plays the game like a linebacker sometimes. So, you know, those things have to change if you're Andrew Luck going forward. But they're not going to move on from him. No, he's not going to do that. Yeah. He's just too good of a talent. Because, first of all, you'd have teams knocking on your door to trade you anything you wanted for him. So, you know, say he didn't play at all this year and they won 2 games and all of a sudden they have the top pick. Yeah. And they like a quarterback. One, I don't know if you would draft a quarterback because it's hard to trade that Luck contract. And, I mean, the salary cap, it's just all stupid. They're not going to. But hypothetically, let's say they did that. Any team in football that needs a quarterback is going to give you the top, the Jets might give you the top pick for him.
Yeah.
The 49ers, you think Kyle Shanahan wouldn't give you, his first round pick for him, He might give you this first round pick, next year's first round pick, Brian Hoyer, Carlos Hyde,
a second round pick,
Joe Staley, who else do you want, But, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that argument, I could see that argument work with some other teams. That argument's not going to, like, this Eagles team. Like, that argument works for a team that didn't have a tough schedule last year. If you're like, oh, well, you could play worse. You could play just as good as you did last year, but be a worse football team because you got a tougher schedule this year.
Well, with the talent on this football team, you should be a 10 more win games.
I agree. But we had a tough schedule last year, did we not? So people are like, oh, we got a tough schedule this year. Okay, it's not any tougher than it was last year. Yeah. So it'd be one thing if we played if we had a tougher schedule this year than we did last year. And like last year we had an easy schedule. And then you could use the argument, well, we could play just as good a football this year, but actually be a worse team record-wise because our schedule's tougher. Our schedule's not tougher this year than it was last year. It might be just as tough, but it's not any tougher. So, I mean, we're a better football team this year than we were last year. So if we play just as good a football this year as we did last year, we're going to win more games this year than we did last year because we're just a better team. So that's just the way that's going to work. You're going to win at least 9 games. You've got to be 2 games better.
You have to be.
Because let's think about this. I mean,
10 wins or better, man, with this potential on this team and this talent.
We gave up the game to the Lions with the fumble. We gave up the game against the Cowboys in that fourth quarter with 10 minutes to play. You could say we should have won that Giants game because we lost by 5 points and didn't kick the field goal twice. And then the Bengals game, and we were just completely overmatched. Man. That's probably a game we should have been more competitive in. Mm-hmm. But there's at least 3 games there where you look at and say, yeah, we could have won those 3 games. And instead of being 7-9, all of a sudden you're 10-6. Yeah. So if we had a chance, depending on how a few plays went last year to win 10 games, my expectations this year are to win 10 games.
Oh, 100%.
I don't like any of this talk. I've heard too many fans talking about 7 or 8 wins. Oh, this is a 7 or 8 win football team. Bullshit.
They're just scared because of what happened last year.
I want somebody to get fired if we only win 7 games again this year.
Oh, if we win 7 or less games, Doug's gone.
I don't think Doug's gone because I just think Jeffrey Lurie likes him too much.
Or Howie's gone. One of them's got to go.
Somebody needs to go. Like somebody, if you win 7 games again, somebody needs to go. It's not Doug for me. I would like it to be Howie, but it probably wouldn't be him either because Jeffrey likes him too much. Mm-hmm. But who gets fired in that situation?
Yeah, it's a coin flip.
From what I heard yesterday in the interview, I don't think anybody does. That's like, oh, well, as long as we get better, you're happy with it, Jeffrey? Like, so if we win 8 games, that's okay with you because it's not okay with me. I don't think it should be okay with other Eagles fans.
Ain't fine with me. Tell you that right now. This team should win more than 10 games. That's the God-honest truth.
Got about 10 more minutes left or so in the show here, Ralph. So let's get into the recent comments from Lane Johnson since we're about to be at game day. You know, these comments obviously were a couple weeks ago, but he made it pretty simple, right? We're going to go to Washington and we're going to kick their ass. That's pretty much what was said.
And now if we lose the game, well, Lane, next time just shut your big ass mouth up.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I mean, if we lose the game, I mean, who's it on? Because if Lane gives up 3 sacks to somebody, okay, maybe one thing. But I like that. That's
It fires up your team.
Right, and it's offensive linemen. They're the in your face type of guys. They're the slap you in the mouth type of guys to begin with. You know what I mean? So I like, a guy like him coming out and saying that, like, this is the way it's going to be. We're going to go there and we're going to kick their ass. And then, guys like Carson can come out and just do their thing and have good
and throw
performances.
dimes and throws for 400
right,
yards.
And you play your game and you have a good performance. I like that from Lane coming out and saying that. You need somebody like you need Joe Thomas. Is that guy you see in Cleveland?
Yeah.
You need a guy on the offensive line that demands respect like that. Because once Jason Peters gone and Lane Johnson's the guy that's the left tackle and he's the guy that's sitting here making comments like that, right? Saying, confident things of that nature. We're going to go down there and kick their ass. He's the guy that I'm expecting to go slap somebody in the mouth on the defensive line, first chance he gets. Wait, I want to see it. I think
What's up, Ryan Kerrigan?
I think he's going to rip somebody's head off this Sunday.
Yeah.
What's
up,
what I mean?
Ryan?
He's going he's going to slap somebody in the mouth as they try to Ryan Kerrigan, somebody like that, tries to
Jonathan Allen's there.
Tries to drive around the corner, get slapped in the mouth by Lane Johnson.
I wonder who Jonathan Allen's
going
to be lining up against.
Jason Kelsey.
Oh, Jesus.
So I said we need to see a lot of LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
I need to have some help. But we're gonna.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey's the one weak point of this offensive line.
Can we get Matt Tobin back, please?
No, what? You want to go play offensive line?
I'll go play.
You
I
go
know I'm
play
better than Kelsey.
With your ACL injury?
I'll
Have
be
you
fine.
been cleared?
I'll be
Have
fine.
doctors cleared you?
Put a brace on it. I'll be good.
Oh, my God, stop it.
But this game, I'm very excited for. It's been a long time. Not a long time. I'm always excited for week 1. This team has a lot of potential to do big things this year.
And
if you go 7-9 or 8-8 or 9-7, this team is a 10-win team.
Trust me, the reaction videos you'll be getting from the Hurricane in Florida, it will not be, it's not going to be positive. It's going to be a very negative attitude if this team goes 8-8 and people within the organization act like that's, hey, we made a lot of improvement this year.
Oh,
We
really?
improved from where we were a year ago.
7-9, yeah, that's a lot of improvement.
No, I'm not okay with that.
You were 7-9 too.
That's the one
Jeffrey.
thing. I would have liked Jeffrey Lurie to come out and
Jeffrey,
say,
go to bed.
I would have liked him to come out and say, we're a playoff team. The expectation is to be a playoff team. Realistically, we think we can be a playoff team, and that's the goal. Now,
if Howie gets fired, I want your boy. I want your boy as our GM.
McLaughlin?
Yep, 100%.
Hey, listen, he's a great talent evaluator. Yep. Great talent evaluator.
I want him as my GM.
I'm not opposed to it. The guy knows how to evaluate talent, right? We know one thing that would come out of that is we're not going to have to worry about there being not enough talent here, right?
Yeah.
The conversations we had about, at the end of this year with the talent at wide receiver and places like that, that'll be taken care of real quick, right? Yeah. We know he knows how to evaluate talent.
Throw some stuff on his contract. You get the sign.
Listen,
$2 million guaranteed.
I don't care that he drinks.
However, drink all you want.
Businessmen drink, okay?
Yeah.
You drink it up all you want with Jeffrey Lurie. You and Jeffrey and Howie can drink scotch. Howie's he's an Ivy League man.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's a businessman. Drink scotch all you want. Be my GM and drink your ass off if you want. I don't care.
Yeah. Come to work drunk if you want.
It's a blue collar city. We drink in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that. Absolutely, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, 100%.
But the problem is that Jeffrey Lurie's not going to fire Howie.
Yeah, I know.
He also said in that interview that he's been very happy with Howie and the work of Howie.
Has he?
Been very happy with him.
The freaking puppet?
Well, that's exactly why, because he's a puppet.
Yeah. Pulling them strings.
He's a puppet. And Doug Peterson is too. He's Jason Garrett. But, as you've been able to see in Dallas, you can win with that guy.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the only thing I don't like about Doug sometimes is his play calling, but those types of things can change. Jason Garrett doesn't call plays in Dallas no more.
Yeah, no.
They've got Rod Marinelli running that defense. They've got Scott Linehan running that offense. And then Garrett just worries about being a head coach. And I like Peterson more than Garrett because he brings a winning culture.
And Ezekiel Elliott gets away for beating girls. But
that always happens.
It's another
in Dallas.
thing.
Everybody gets away with beating girls there.
It's terrible.
But you just feel like I feel like Jerry Jones
Jerry gets what he wants.
Yeah, but Jerry, ego wise, he seems like the type of guy that goes home and beats his wife.
Yeah,
probably.
probably.
Puts her in her place. How dare you talk to me that way, woman? I am Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I'm Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
I'm Jerry Jones. You know, and Jerry Jones thinks Jerry Jones thinks he's one of those guys that, thinks more of himself than what he really is, Jerry Jones is that celebrity that thinks he's, A-list, high profile.
He goes to the record. Jerry, what are you doing?
And he's really Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? Like you're not Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? You're not. Like you're.
Jerry, what are you doing here?
You know what I mean?
Go back in your box.
Yeah, Jerry, like he's so much more. He thinks he's so much more high profile than he actually is. So,
I can't wait until we smack the Cowboys twice this year.
It's the type of team,
We're sweeping the Cowboys this year, and I can't wait.
I like it.
We should have done it last year, but whatever.
We need to sweep the Redskins this year. That's the team we need to sweep. They beat us 5 out of 6 times. They've beaten us 5 straight. We beat them the first time that we faced them in the Jay Gruden era. And then since then.
And that was with RG3 still, right?
I don't know who was starting. It was RG3. It might have been Kirk Cousins.
I think it was RG3.
Wasn't it late in the year?
Yeah.
Wasn't that late in the chip year where we imploded late in the year?
Mm-hmm.
Year 2?
Yeah, because we won.
Remember year 2 when we were like 9-3 and then we imploded and didn't make the playoffs?
Yeah, we were 9-3, then lost 3 straight games.
Right.
When we finished out the season 10-6.
And we lost with Mark Sanchez to the Redskins late in that year and imploded. I think that's.
It was the second year.
We lost to the Redskins, so that wouldn't have been the one. It must have been the year after that. Must have been the first time we beat the Redskins with Jay Gruden or something. But yeah, with the 6 times we played them, we beat them once. The first time we played them.
1-5 against them.
1-5. The Redskins have beat us 5 straight times.
It's a goddamn shame.
So we got to win this Sunday. That's just you can't have that type of dominance. You can't have one team. Remember that was like we went through that with Andy early on in the Andy era, where the Giants had beaten us. I don't know how many
numerous
straight times.
Yeah.
But we finally beat them like late in 1999 or earlier or like middle of the year 2000 or something. Maybe we beat them in like October of 2000 or something and finally snapped like the Giants like 10 or 11 game winning streak against us or something. Like they had our number. They just owned us at that point. And we finally snapped it. Like we got to beat the Redskins this year.
Just to snap it.
Yeah, just so they don't feel like they own us. Got to get the Kirk Cousins. Got to punch him in the mouth.
Go undefeated
finally.
in division?
No, that doesn't happen. That's rare.
Yeah,
that's
very
rare.
rare.
To win every divisional game is just rare. But go 5 and if you go 4-2 in the division,
you should win the division.
It's likely that you're going to win the division. You go 5-1 in the division, now you're really talking.
Yeah, you should. If you go 4-2 in the division or 5-1 in the division, you should be winning division titles.
I think that we could sweep the Redskins. I think that we could sweep the Giants. I don't think we're going to sweep the Cowboys. Do I think we could go 5-1? I think we could go 5-1. I think it's more realistic we go 4-2, but we need to have a winning record in the division.
Yeah.
We need to have a winning record in the division.
I like it.
I
want the freaking playoffs this year.
I think this is a playoff team. There's too much talent for this not to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
The only thing on this team, the only thing that this team doesn't have that you're like a little bit shaky with is you still look at the secondary at times. But Ronald Darby's really improved that area. You've got enough playmakers offensively, a good enough offensive line, and a good enough front 7 where there's no excuses where you shouldn't look at yourself as a playoff team.
So what's your prediction for this Sunday?
Oh, we win.
Yeah.
We're going to win. And then I think that we actually, like I said, I actually like the chances of us going into Kansas City now. I've got to lean over here, Ralph. I got to get ready to,
take us out.
Take us out, obviously. So now I got to go off the screen for a moment. But I like us beating Washington this Sunday. Then I like us following that up. I think we go to Kansas City, and everybody's going to think Kansas City's going to win that game because Andy Reid has a long week, right? He's got a long week. They play
3 extra days.
Right, and what does Andy do on bye weeks or anything like that? He's always money coming off of a long week.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're going to go in there. That's going to be a team that's going to, emotionally is going to have something taken out of them with Eric Berry no longer there. Alex Smith is not going to have the same type of performance against us that he had, against the Patriots. He's thrown for 300-plus yards 7 times total in his 13-year career, what is now his 13th year of his career.
Yeah.
He's not going to go back-to-back. He's not going to have another big game like that against us. If anything, I think it's more likely a guy like Kareem Hunt has another big game against us and, establishes himself as a Rookie of the Year candidate or something early on in the season here. But I like us winning a close football game there. I think we go there. That's a little bit of a dogfight, and we win. Win that football game, 28-24, something like that. Alex Smith, might barely throw for 200 yards because that's more of an Alex Smith type of performance. So I like us to go 2-0 out the blocks, and initially I thought we'd go 1-1. Now that changes my thought though on that Giants game, Week 3.
Yeah.
I think maybe now we lose that game if we go 2-0 out the blocks. We lose that game to the Giants Week 3. But look out, because if we win that Giants game and go 3-0.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, unlike last year, because remember, we had this conversation last year.
Yeah.
Right?
When we beat the bricks off of the Steelers.
We started 3-0. and I said, well, now I said everything changes, right? Because coming into the year, right, remember I said my expectations weren't for us to make the playoffs. I think that was unrealistic. I actually thought we were going to start the season 0-3. I tried to get cute and was like, watch us start the year 0-3, and then we'll play good down the stretch. But then you start the year 3-0, expectations change. You start the year 3-0, you're supposed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the way that works. I don't care who you are. I don't care, if the 49ers start the year 3-0 this year, they should make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, that would be disappointment.
Yeah, all you need, if you start 3-0, you just need 6 more wins to get to 9.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a losing record in your final 13 games of the year.
Yeah.
And still, you could go 6-7 the rest of the way and still be right there in the playoff picture. But to start the year 3-0 and not have a winning record is really bad. And so that's like last year you started the year 3-0 and then didn't have a winning record. And to justify going 7-9 after a 3-0 start to me was a little bit, I don't know how you can justify that. Remember, we had a conversation before we won the final 2 games of the year of, what if you lose out? Remember, because we were in a position where you started 3-0, and then I think we beat the Falcons, and that was our 5th win of the year. And then we were in a position where we went on this bad losing streak, and if we didn't win the final 2 games of the year, we would have finished the year 5-11. You would have realistically went 2-11 to finish the year. And remember, we were having the conversation of like, you don't get to go 2-11 and keep your job.
Yeah,
like somebody's got to lose their job if you go 2-11 to finish the year. Whether it was Jim Schwartz or who it was going to be. Turned out Greg Lewis lost his job, which I actually love because now Mike Groh is here. And, this is the guy that coached for Nick Saban at Alabama. This is a guy that's been in a lot of different stops in the NFL and has had a lot of success with every receiving core he's ever been with. So, I think that's why I think Aguilar is going to have a big year for us this year. Alshon Jeffrey is going to be, it's going to be a huge year for him. He played under Mike Groh before. But, this for me, there's too much talent for us to sit here and just accept 8-8. And that's what it sounded like Laurie was saying last night.
Yeah. We'll see what happens Sunday.
The Josh Norman thing real quick. Josh Norman obviously likes to play a lot of head games with other teams and with receivers and people like that he covers. And the Eagles have come out and said, Alshon Jeffrey came out and said, we're going to give him the silent treatment. He's going to talk, and we're just not going to respond.
Good.
We're not going to go back and forth with him. Because what ends up happening when you go back and forth with him is what Odell Beckham did last year.
Yeah.
You get in a fist fight with him on the field. Or what happened with, Terrell Pryor. When, Terrell Pryor was in Cleveland, and they played mind games with him.
Yeah.
And took him right out that game. So I think that was Pac-Man Jones that played mind games with him, and it took him right out the game. So, they're going to give him the silent treatment. And
well, I hope so.
And they think that
Jeffrey better do something this week too.
They think it could frustrate him. I think Jeffrey's going to get his. I don't think he's going to go off or anything like that to have I don't think he's going to have a 200-yard receiving game or something. But 6 catches, 100 yards.
That's fine by me.
Something
a touchdown.
Like that.
Give him a touchdown right there. We're good to go. Hey, Birds win this week by a score. I said it last night on the Fix. We're Ryan and the guys, 28-24.
Birds win 28-24 this week.
Yep.
That's your prediction.
Yep.
All right, I have us winning. I like 28-20. I'll go 28-21.
Okay.
Something like that. This is the rundown. A2DRadio.com.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real.
Brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City, bmwatlanticcity.com. Easy to get, 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. If you've ever wanted the ultimate driving experience, it's closer than you think at BMW of Atlantic City. For Zach Burr, Ralph Delavecchio, Tom Arnone, everybody here at A2DRadio.com, we thank you for tuning in.
You're listening
Take care,
to the
everybody.
worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.